Welcome back to Solomon's Porch with your host Jason.
And Sean.
And we are joined today with a special guest. We have had him on the show before. You may recognize him. He joined us whenever we did the Season 1 Mandalorian finale. And so that seems like it's been many moons ago. That's what, a year?
Yeah, it's been a minute.
It's been a minute, but that's 2020 because I was like the Mandalorian saved 2020 because 2020 was trash, and Mandalorian kind of saved it a little bit.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, man. So we haven't had you on in that long, man. So how's things been since that period of time?
As far as Disney Plus, it's been amazing because we got the Mandalorian season 2. We had Hawkeye, Winter Soldier, and Falcon was okay. Loki was meep meep. WandaVision was iron. The Bad Batch was amazing. Boba Fett is dope. But I'm sure you're asking me about other stuff. But since I was already in that realm of Disney Plus, I just went ahead and went there. You know what I'm saying? And something else was how could I forget my favorite? What If? What If series was the best thing. Yeah, it's in my top. So
Okay.
Shang-Chi was a disappointment, but. What you gonna do?
It's interesting, man, because not that we're here to talk about all of this, but
yeah, no, but we're here.
A lot of people are putting Shang-Chi in their new top 5.
Well, everybody can't claim to be, a savant at movie watching. So
okay. All right, how about No Way Home? How'd you like that?
Oh, dude, it was my number one movie of 2021. On the God Chasers podcast, me, Ready Writer, and Sketch the Journalist, we do one show every year, and it's always 2 hours, and we go through like our top CHH records, and we go through our top TV shows and movies, and Spider-Man was number one, dude. So it's no beating how when Peter Parker was wailing on the Green Goblin and he was just smiling. I'm like, Oscar, give this man an Oscar, because he was just, and seeing Tom Holland have a dark side, I was like, see, this is exactly what the world needs. But
a dark side
of Tom Holland, yeah. Yeah, because he's so great at Spider-Man, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, just to see him like wild out like that, I was like, oh crap, he got range. So, look, now I want to see him as a drug dealer or something in a movie. So,
well, we about to see him as a Lord, what's it, Nathan Drake? We're going to see him in Uncharted. So
I don't know what that's about. I don't know what that's about at all.
It's based on a video game.
Yeah. I don't know the game, but yeah, I've seen it before, so I don't know the story at all. So hopefully we get to see him do some wild stuff. So I'm looking forward to that.
Did you see him in the Netflix movie that he was in?
I did not.
No.
No, that was Apple Plus.
No, he had one with had James Buchanan, not James Buchanan. Lord, is it James Buchanan? Is that his name? Bucky.
No. I don't. You know what? I don't know dude name, dude.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be the new Luke.
Stan Sebastian.
That's him. Yeah.
Sebastian Stan. So him, and then there was somebody else from the Marvel Universe in that as well. He had a little bit of range in that too. He played like a southern redneck young fella. So yeah, man. But look, we could go on and on and on.
Oh yeah, that's my lane, bro. I do movie stuff all day. But yeah. You didn't ask me about it. So other than that, God has really been blessing, man. The labels, we've been putting out a ton of music over the past 2 years. I guess since I've been on here, I've done a internet concert in 2020. Put out my 10th project, Throw the Crown, which did amazing. Put out a duo project with a Ready Writer called Medallions. It's just boom bap Christian rap, something that people really wouldn't expect from me. Oatmeal put out a project. C Straight, I don't know if you're familiar with his music or not, but he hasn't put out an album in 10 years. And he put out a project called The View From Here last year, which was amazing. And it seemed like he didn't lose a step. It's like one of those NBA player who comes back and then you think he gonna have like 4 points and he end up dropping like 35 points with like 12 assists and all that. So that's how that project is. And the other thing came out, and I've been doing a lot of philanthropy work, with hospitals and stuff like that, for which I do every year we've been doing it for the past 4 years, and it gets bigger every year. So, and I met Stephen Wiley. I don't know if you know who he is.
Yeah.
So I met Stephen Wiley, got to perform with him in Tulsa, and dude, that was the highlight of life last year because when I was 4, I had a Stephen Wiley cassette, and I got to, just chop it up with him. And after the concert, the next day I rapped at his church, and God really blessed it. And I got a comic book, Action Comics 1000. It's a blank. So I had him sign it, Mike Peace out of New York, and Chili Baby from the Gospel Gangsters. So my Christian rap heroes all on the comic book, so I'm gonna get it encapsulated, and I have something that nobody else got. So
that's right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So I got to talk to you about your. So you got a trailer coming out, but before we dive into that, where you got a documentary, you released a trailer for the documentary. But I want to talk about the philanthropy work. That's a hard word to say.
Yep.
So the past several years, I know I've seen, whether it be newspaper articles or online articles, things like that that's been posted of some of the donations of toys and things like that you do for children's hospitals. And so, one, I got to know, man, why do you keep doing it? And I know why you keep doing it, but I think you're like the only person that does it in the Christian hip hop space that we see.
I don't think I'm the only one. I think I'm the only one who do it at the level I do it at. I mean, I've seen Thizzle do giveaways in this hood, the kids, but I don't think people do it at the level that God has allowed me to do it at, with like serving so many hospitals and in the amount of donations that they get. It's really been amazing and an honor.
So do you do it for the same hospitals every year, or do you have like a rotation, or how does that come about?
So for the first 2 years, I was doing this one hospital called Orange Park Medical, and I would do their labor and delivery wing in their pediatric unit. And what I would do is I would get online and ask people, I'm like, hey, if you guys want to go on a shopping spree with me to bless these hospitals, meet me at this Target. And I'll go to Target and I'll pair people up and let them know, like, if it's people who have kids, I'm like, okay, your mother, what was the stuff that you needed when you was a new mother? And I say, get all of it, and we'll clean out their store, and then we'll do the toys for the pediatrics. I would go to the electronic section because I love video games and stuff like that. So I'll buy all their Wii's, I will buy all of the Switches, a gang of video games, some Xboxes, PlayStations, and all of that. And then I'll go to like how Target has like a super Target, and they have a grocery section. So for the nurses, since I know they have some sort of caffeine addiction, I ain't judging them. I'm just saying what it is. I would buy like pallets and pallets of like coffee and snacks and Debbie cakes and stuff for the nurses station. And then I would go and talk to a chaplain, and me and the chaplain to go around. giving, they will give a ton of the stuff to the hospital, but they'll personally let me go room to room, giving stuff to the families and kids. I get to pray with them, talk about the love of God, just witness, and then I'll go from nurse station to nurse station and bring them coffee and stuff. And then the second year, I bought the nurses like the high level Keurig coffees, because when I've seen their the break room, I was like, y'all coffee machine is trash. So so I'm like, the amount of work that they do and the amount of ministry that these people do day in and day out, they need to have the best of the best. So we got the highest end coffee maker that does the cappuccino and the little frou stuff for the milk and all that other stuff. So that was the first 2 years. So last year, 2012, one nurse that I knew personally, she called me. She was like, "Hey, our hospital and our kids want donations too." And so I was like, "Oh, word." So then I went back. So this was like right after I did the donation at Orange Park. So this was like the third year at Orange Park. So the next day, I went back to Target, called some more people. I said, "Hey, we need another turnaround." And so I had maybe 15 people. We loaded up their cars, and I had a big truck loaded up their cars. So I pulled up to the children's hospital. This was a children's hospital, and I said, "Hey, come outside. We got some stuff." So she came out with another nurse with like a little wheelchair. She thought I was just gonna. I was like, "What? You need to go get more people." She was like, "What you talking about?" I like, because she didn't see the other people. I said, all these cars. So it was maybe 10 to 12 cars full of stuff. Wow. I like all these cars and all these people. So they started scrambling. And we filled up an entire room of gifts, and it was so much so that like the head of this department came, then they called the president of the hospital, and next thing I know, I'm in the newspaper. So this year, which was the biggest year we ever did, we had 3 hospitals. One of the places is called Nemours, and the contact from Nemours knew me from the first hospital, but since COVID, one of the pediatric wings at Orange Park Medical closed down, and it scattered, all of the nurses on that wing. And so somebody went to Nemours, and they told them, they're like, "Hey, this guy does this thing, and y'all need to let him come. His only requirement is that you come, that when he comes, you let him pray with people and talk about Jesus." And they was like, "Well, let's see what he do." So this was special to me because they made a whole event. They let me have their whole auditorium. They set me up a whole space to meet everybody and talk with them, pray with them. And they had 152 kids with their parents and their families. So I got to meet, and then this year I finally named the event. So now it's called Beyond Christmas, and so they had it. Well, in my best friend, I know I'm taking a long time, but it's such a great story, and I don't really get to talk about it a lot. My best friend owns a trucking company, so I said, "Hey, I need one of you, not the semi, but the one just a little lower than the semi. I don't need the little one." So we had 14 pallets of toys, 14 pallets of stuff for the nurses, and we pulled up to this place, and they were like, "What are we gonna do with all of this?" So they were like, "Is this it?" And we just kept going and kept going. And I bought Keurigs for those nurses. I bought them flat screens, like 55-inch flat screens for like their break rooms and the mounts or whatever. I said, "Listen, I'm gonna bring you guys TVs and mounts. I'm just not putting them up. Y'all handle all that. I don't do that. And so it was so cool because I put it on my Instagram if anybody want to see it. The way that they put it, it's like it was a big auditorium and all the toys are there. It was over. It's safe to say it was like 12,000 toys just in this one space. And it was the high end stuff. I didn't get like a small action figure. No, we got the Legos. That's the $200 Lego sets. I had Xboxes there. We had Oculus, and I told the kids, I like pick what you want because now I'm about to make the story longer. My heart behind it is like when I was growing up, we didn't have much, and I had an uncle who used to come from New York every summer, take me and my brother to Toys R Us, gave us each a basket, and he said, "Whatever, fill up the basket with whatever you want, and that's what I'm gonna pay for." And as a kid, that was like the greatest day of the year to get to go to Toys R Us and just get everything that I've been wanting. And he didn't care what it was, you know. And we get video games, and my GI Joe and Transformer collection was crazy. It was crazy. So when the kids came in line, I didn't give them. I didn't pick out a gift for them. I told them, I like pick out what you want, and then the kids, a lot of the parents, because that hospital is for kids who had like bone cancer. I seen a kid, he had no legs. It's a lot of that hospital had a lot of kids that had a lot going on. And one of the nurses, before while I was preparing, I asked them what one of the kids liked. They was like, "Well, he liked Marvel." I like, "Oh, he likes who?" It's like I said, "Well, who his favorite person?" They're like, Captain America. And then before I went to a comic book store, and they had the movie prop Captain America shield. Nice. So I bought it.
Nice.
So I had that, and so I ended up meeting the kid, and he was like, "Oh, I don't like Captain America." I'm like, "What?"
I'll take it, bro. I'll take it. Just ship it here.
No. But the cool thing was, a few kids after him, he came and he had like spinal surgery, so he had on like a cast on his chest that the stuff that I've seen I never seen before, and he had like a Jedi cloak, you know what I'm saying? So he started talking about Star Wars, and that's my lane. I'm like, "Oh, you know what you're talking about." So I'm like, "Well, what you want?" He said, "I want that." I said, "What else you like?" He like, "I like Marvel." I like, "Who you like?" "Captain America." I said, "Oh, what do you think about this?" And the shield, you have to pick it up and just boom, put it on the table. So when I did that, his mom was like, "Oh my gravy." I never heard that term before. She said, "Oh my gravy." She burst out crying. He burst out crying. And, and she was just telling him, "I told you God was real." And just the stories of God being real. And this one kid had bone cancer, and we was talking to him, and he was just like, "Dude, why are you doing this?" I like, "Because God love you, and he put it on my heart to let you know that these are just gifts, and he wants you to know that he been looking out for you this entire time." And just those moments of letting these kids know that God didn't forget about them and that they're loved, and we get to do it in his name, dude. It's like one of my, things that I just am humbled that God allowed me to see it, because you can see pictures, but you don't see the reaction of the kids and the parents when I get them to minister and talk about Jesus with them, because the toy is nothing but a gateway to talk about what I really want to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's my music the same way. It's all about souls. I'm gonna talk about the beats and whatever, but at the core, what we do is about pointing people to the cross of Christ. So that was longer than what you expected, but
well, that's the why.
yeah, that's the why.
Well, part of the why. Part of the why.
Dude,
Part of the why.
I'm looking at God Chaser's Instagram, and those pictures, man. You know, you can say 14 pallets worth of stuff, but when you see the pictures,
But when you see the pictures,
bruh, I mean, the stuff is stacked up as tall as you are.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yep,
It's no joke, man. Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing.
yep,
God is so great.
yep. The
Yeah,
Lord,
man,
the Lord is
that's
good.
very inspiring, man. I really hope, and that's kind of my hopes, is that people being able to hear that will feel inspired to go out, and not just at Christmas time, but just throughout the year.
Yeah,
Well,
To be able to,
and that's what I love about the name that you chose, Beyond Christmas. You know, right on, bro.
yeah,
and
absolutely.
what's really dope is that on this past Monday, the board of directors of one of the hospitals I visited, they invited me on to talk about, Beyond Christmas, and then they start telling me stories about families in the NICU, because when I got stuff for like newborns, diapers, diaper genies, wipes, pumps for the mothers, the somebody was telling me about white noise machines for like babies that has addictions and stuff like that help calm them down. So we bought all of this stuff. So they were saying how a lot of the families who were struggling had such a big head start for their child. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, it's such a blessing that, God is looking out for these kids in such a way that even though the world is dealing them a bad hand, they getting a head start. The parents getting ease, and the, I know this stuff costs money because ringing it up, I was like, diapers is this much money? What is happening? So
Right.
so these parents are having such a ease, and it's just a blessing about after the donations, the stories are still going, and it's a ripple effect of the goodness of God, and that's all we got to give credit to is the Lord, for allowing us to do it.
Amen.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I definitely wanted to make sure we had some time to talk about that because, just like your music, it's like a means to an end. Giving gifts is the means to be able to go and talk to families about Jesus and the love of God and how much He loves them. And
Hmm.
then you're that conduit that He's using to be able to love on them in that manner. So, so I appreciate you talking about that and people getting an opportunity to be able to hear kind of what's being done. Before we move on to the documentary, though, is there any way that people can partner with you? Like if they wanted to be a part of that, is there a way for that to happen?
Unfortunately, not
Okay, okay,
unless you're in Jacksonville and you come and shop with me.
okay. So was it
For real.
in-person shopping experience? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. One thing that, oh man, I don't want to make this longer. I know we spend a lot of time on this, but what another thing that I was blessed to do was take um some foster kids on a shopping spree um this Christmas, not one time but twice, because the first time I took them to the mall, I took them to Buckle. I don't know if you're familiar with that store,
Yep.
Old Navy, and Foot Locker. And I wanted them to have the experience of having options and having a choice. And, I gave them all the budget in each store, and it was such an eye opening thing because a lot of kids was like shutting down because they never had that experience, and they was overwhelmed, and they was like, I don't know what to get. I'm like, get whatever you want, So 2 weeks later, I was thinking, I was like, man, that's just clothes and shoes. They probably got other needs. So I rented a charter bus, one of the luxury ones, went out to the foster care. It's a ranch, and we took them to Target, and I was like, hey, y'all get some baskets and y'all do whatever you need to do. And the kids, it was a surprise to the kids because I was like, look, I know you guys are used to people just making donations and you don't see them again. I don't want to be that person. I want to, be a constant light. And it was such an humbling thing to get to do it and hang with those kids, because some of them are like middle school, high school, and just being in the system and being shuffling around. you know um, so another heart behind this thing is James 1 27, where it talk about looking out for the fatherless, the widows, and the poor. So that's mainly what Beyond Christmas is about. James 1:27.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get you on a remix a song I'm getting ready to release because I think you'll be able to give some life experience on that. But yeah, man, I'm gonna talk to you
Word,
about that later on, man. Later on, we gotta link
word,
up to some
word,
music, man.
word. Let's
Yeah,
go.
man. So let's talk about the documentary you have coming out, or God Chasers has coming out. You shared a trailer, or there's a trailer now
Mhm.
that's on YouTube and I'm sure on all the social media platforms of God Chasers. This documentary, man, the one thing that I love about it is everybody who's familiar with God Chasers says the same exact thing, in that the number one goal is to promote Jesus, to
That's
introduce
it.
people to Jesus.
That's it.
In all of your albums, you have a sinner's prayer
Oh,
to
yeah. Yep.
on every album, and
Everyone.
so I love that. That's the whole focus of God Chasers as a label and a group of artists who want to just lead people to Christ, man. So the documentary. I know you said that it's available in some of the film festivals that's coming up. Can you kind of share about the documentary and how people might be able to check it out, and kind of just
Whew.
explain the documentary a little bit so we can know what to look forward to?
Oh man. The documentary, it's called God Chases documentary. It talks about the label. It talks about the artist. I'm sure people think it's going to be about me, but it's not. I talk in it. Every artist on the label, has parts in it. It's a lot of people in the Christian hip hop community who is a part of it. Let's see. Eric Boston from 520 is in it. Humble Tip, Fidel, uh, DJ Wado, Marcus Hall. He's the CEO of the Kingdom Choice Awards.
DJ
It's
Jeremiah.
DJ Jeremiah. The whole Trackstar crew is in there. Um, just a lot of people I got interviews with, um, and it's really telling the story. But all in all, we're talking about the goodness of God, and um, prayerfully, it's going to increase a ton of people' faith. Um, and so far, we are going in the film festival circuit because it's another way to expose what we do as we glorify God. The people who don't even know anything about Christian rap, like this is like it. What I learned in the past 5 years, just me embracing like the comic book pop culture and going to Comic Cons and things like that, is it's pockets of people around the world who are in their world who don't know anything about what we do, and even they're closed off from the church, and they got other influential communities making an impact in the film industry, and I'm just like, nobody is telling stories like this. So we're gonna, if this is a community of storytellers and filmmakers and people in that nature, guess what? They all need Jesus too. So the combination of having information for over 15 years of what we do, pack it into this film, and we sending it to film festivals all over the world. And so far, we've won 26 awards so far in the film festival, and he, and we just dropped the trailer. I personally did it because I this thing has organically already been doing its own thing. It didn't need me to promote it, even though I'm in it, because I think with the Christian hip hop community, they look at me a certain way, and people already got their preconceived notions. That's why I wanted to just go out and infect the world first before I even introduce it to people who are familiar with me. So we're like, well, we got enough awards. I guess people can see it. And plus, it's being shown we're the featured film at the Jacksonville Film Festival on March the 5th. And so people have been buying tickets for that, and it's going to be pretty big, and I'm excited for people to see it. So far, you can only see it in film festivals because the way that the prayer is that the people from like Hulu, Prime, Netflix, all these places, they send their people to film festivals and to make deals with filmmakers to get them on streaming platforms. So that's one of the hopes. That's one of the reasons we haven't released it publicly yet, and did it because it's easy to get on Netflix and all, and Hulu and Apple. That's easy. It's places you can buy those services. It's just like buying a service to get your album on Spotify and Apple, things like that. But I don't want to do it that way. I want them to make a deal with us because we got such a powerful and impactful film, and I believe God's hand is on it, and it's anointed, and that people's lives will be impacted and things like that.
Yeah, I'd like to get a pool going to know how many times the name Jesus is mentioned in this documentary. Like, I'm just curious to know.
Man.
I don't have enough hands or fingers and toes.
I would say well over 75.
Well over. Minutes? Is it a 5-minute documentary? No.
Well over 75. Well over 75. Now I need to go look at it again. I watched it last night. I don't know, dude. I just went on since I got 10 albums, I'm like, I just went and listened to every album because I'm always debating what's my favorite album. So I went and listened to all 10 albums last night and then watched the movie. So I was like, all right, this is...
Have you figured it out? Did you get your answer?
I did.
Vibranium?
It's on the Rushmore, but it was a tie between Throw the Crown and No Other Heroes.
I figured No Other Heroes was near the top.
Dude, No Other Heroes is special to me, bro, because that's the album that that had national distribution, that I was in Lifeway and Family Christian Center, Mardell, and stores in Canada and all around the world. So, I had my first deal with my second album. I had an exclusive deal with Best Buy. And then that next one, I was just in Christian bookstores everywhere. But I was listening to that, dude. I was like, oh. It was just like back to back to back. I was like, no skips. So that and Throw the Crown. So special albums.
So are you looking at releasing those on vinyl anytime?
Throw the Crown was released on vinyl.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, and it sold out in 24 hours.
Yeah, I mean, I was just double checking your shop, and yeah, there's like no vinyl on here right now, and I was like, oh, okay.
It sold out. They all sold out.
That's a quality issue, bro.
Yeah, so I have 2 in my possession.
Okay.
And somebody hit me up 4 days ago saying, I want to buy that vinyl off of you. I'm like, bro, do you know the last vinyl that I sold went for $260? Because it was a DJ war, because it was a clear vinyl, and people was like, how many you got left? I was like, 1. And then it was the Christian rap DJs started bidding on it, and one dude was like, I got $260, and then everybody else bowed out gracefully, and I shipped it to him. It was DJ Jesus Beats. Shout out to him. Shout out to that brother.
It was a clear vinyl?
Yeah. So I had
cool.
regular black vinyl and clear vinyl. Yep. Cause that was my 10th album, so we made a big deal about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, super big deal.
Yeah, well, I'm not finding it on eBay at all, so.
No.
Yeah, I feel
No.
like people. That's one thing about I think God Chasers is I feel like you have a good, strong, committed fan base,
Yes.
support
Thank
system.
God for that. Thank God for them.
Because I
Yes.
know there's numerous times where I'll see people asking, because you got different flavors of Christian hip hop or hip hop that's Christian whatnot, and usually anytime someone posts a question regarding who's making Christ explicit music, God Chasers and Brinson pops up in all the conversations. It's
We're
between
here.
God
Here we are.
Chasers and Kingdom Music are the two labels that always pop up.
And we
And
never collaborated yet. So hopefully
dude, that's
that
crazy.
changes.
Y'all being the
I know.
most, I would say the most Christ explicit labels in the genre. Y'all got to collab, man. Y'all got to get that going.
Hey.
Need some Brian
Hey.
Trejo and Brinson. But
That'll be a great track.
yeah, it would be, man. I'm gonna have to. I tell you what, I'm gonna buy a beat, and then I'm gonna get you and him to feature on it, and I'll have exclusive rights to it. I like
Hey,
that. I like that.
if you can make it happen, bro, make it happen. Hey,
I'll pull some
I ain't mad.
strings here and there.
I
Yeah,
ain't
man.
mad.
So where can people look to see where the documentary might be playing? Do you have any type of information on that, or do we have to kind of hold our ears to the speakers and see what pops out?
Um, so we have a website. Before before the trailer drop, I would just send in people who wanted to be investors on the film to this site. It's godchasersdoc.com, and we'll have updates on that. So it give a synopsis of like the film and quotes from different organizations. Uh, it's just, dude, this has been such a faith walk with this film because I'm not a filmmaker. Well, I am now, but I'm not somebody who's engulfed in that world, So my first feature film gets all this love and all these awards and um but I knew when we were making it that God hand was on it. That's something that I was so sure about because I know God hand is on me and you know I'm just like if we are faithful with these talents and these gifts and just continue to point people to God and love on God's people that God honor what we do, you know what I'm saying? So one quick story is as I'm submitting this film to festivals, one festival was closed. So I just sent the trailer. I was like, well, maybe next year. The president of the film festival hit me up on a Friday night, and I was just like, I'm not gonna respond until maybe Monday. So Monday, 4 a.m., his secretary hits me and sends me this long email like, is this movie out? Is it on Amazon? What are you guys doing? So the guy, I get on the phone with him and he tells me I'm over 22 film festivals. He's in LA. And he said, listen, I know the festival that you submitted for is closed. I don't care. He was like, is the movie finished? At this time, we were 70%. I mean, we had a film, but we're still tweaking and moving and like all the sound went in there. He was like, if it's 70, he said 70%. He said, is it watchable? I was like, it's watchable. Like you can see it. I sent him the 70%, and he called me back in the hour. And he said, "This is so powerful." He said, I want you guys in this festival. You're going to open the festival.
Wow.
You're going to be the featured film, and right after we show it, we know we can't fly you guys out to LA, but we want to have all of you guys on like a Zoom call to talk to people. And it was over. I don't want to overestimate the number. I would say close to 500 people on this one call, but they were scattered everywhere, and people was giving all these questions, and it was so good. Like they were asking the simplest stuff, but they were so intrigued because they never seen it. They were like, "Well, do you pray before you write? How does that work?" I'm like, who asks this stuff? But when people are not familiar with Christian rap and what we do in the ministry aspect and what we do outside of the music, it intrigues them because they never, it's a whole, like your podcast, dude, is a whole new world for people. Like it's normal for us because this is what we do. Other people, they'll hear what you're doing and think this is, it's great. But the people who is normal to it's normal. Other people who outside who get to hear this, it's gonna be the best thing they ever heard in their life. So people seen the film and they were like, "Man, this is the greatest film I've seen in the last 3 years." And I was just like, "Well, God, you did it again." Because like I said, this is such a faith thing. Because I'm like, people are gonna be like, "Oh, this is cool." The responses have been overwhelming, and God get all the credit. You know what I'm saying? Because it's cool that me and Will Thomas, we've been working together for over a decade, and I praise God that he does not throw away footage. So we had so much footage because we've done no less than 20 plus music videos, wow. And he got concert footage, video footage. We got videos. I got at least 8 videos that never came out. So we got all of this stuff. So it's really been a blessing. And I have to say, I don't know have you seen the Mic Drop documentary?
No.
Have you heard of it?
I don't think so.
Okay, so there's a documentary called Mic Drop the Movie, and it's about the pioneers of Christian rap.
Oh, I heard about it. Yeah, I did hear about it. Yeah.
So while we were making our documentary, this comes out, and I start talking with the director, and and the dude is so dope, and he just was. I'm just looking at afar as of what he's doing with his film, and he get a deal with Warner Brothers. I'm like, well, God, thank you for showing me that. Like, I don't know what you're doing, but I just believe God is my mentor. My because I didn't have any Christian rap, which I wished I did. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't have cosigns and all the other stuff other people was with. I just had a prayer life, and I just think the Lord has just been doing such an amazing job of promoting this film because I don't know what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, I'm just here, bro. And it's just like a miracle to me to watch God do his thing. And it's just this is a pure faith move. Just how it came about, how it came together. And God is he's just extraordinary.
Yeah, man. So, I actually have the trailer brought up.
Uh-oh.
You okay if we show it?
Yeah, man. Please.
Let me pop it up real quick. Let me see. Get this.
I think some people won't be appreciated until they're gone.
I'm gonna keep it a buck. I thought it was gonna fail. I 100% thought it was gonna fail.
Their delivery was street, it was gritty, but it was very Christ-centered, and it just had a power to it.
They never changed, they never flipped, they never turned around and tap danced. The industry moved this way, they didn't move, they were solid as a rock.
It's Jesus or nothing, plain and simple. It's not about we selling records, it's not about if our name is here. Brinson heart is that people would know Jesus Christ as their Lord and personal Savior.
God Chaser was like, all right, if you ain't about souls, don't rap no more. It don't matter if you in the trenches, you coming out the trap, you still trapping, it was like, listen, we're gonna let you know the gospel.
Whether it was him, whether it was oatmeal, whether it was C Straight, the muscle behind making sure people were saved and were brought to Jesus was just unbelievable.
If I could summarize God Chasers ministry in one sentence, I'd say this. They are a ministry that is willing to do whatever it takes to tell people about Jesus.
It's been a consistent label, and I just feel like they've definitely earned their space in the Christian hip hop Hall of Fame.
They speak the word of God and it changes lives. I'm not against people who do positive rap. It's cool, it ain't changing nobody's life. You feel good for 2 minutes and you get right back in the mud that you're in. But when you have the power of God, it pulls you out, it washes you clean, and it changes your direction. And that's what God Chaser music does.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, great stuff, man. I tell you, every time I've watched it about 4 times, man, and every time I watch
Hey.
it, I just, I don't know, I feel it, man. I actually feel the trailer. And, and you know, especially like, you know, like DJ Wado said, like, I feel like y'all are going to do whatever it takes to let people know about Jesus.
Amen. Amen.
And I don't think y'all are ever going to stray from that. I don't feel like you're ever going to try to figure out how to stay trendy or how to stay in the viewer's eyes. You know, we briefly mentioned earlier, and I'm not going to dig into it, but, you know, I see so much news about negative stuff coming out and bad things that happen. And I've been seeing things like the documentary and then, you know, all the stuff that you were doing back in Christmas time, all the great things that are happening with God Chasers. And I just, you know, I really hope that, and I need to do it, and this is me taking responsibility. I feel like I need to do a better job. Having a platform to be able to promote different things, I need to do a better job about promoting what's going on at God Chasers, because I really do think that it's the power of God working through you and your crew. And I feel like y'all are doing God's work. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you your flowers right now.
Praise
while
God,
you're here
bro.
on the show, and let you know I appreciate you, man. I appreciate what you've been doing for the past 15 years.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
man. Yeah.
Appreciate that, man. I think it's I had to have an honest moment with myself, bro, maybe a few weeks ago, because I'm like, man, we got a movie, we got over 70 something projects floating out there in the space, you know what I'm saying? And we've been touring for I don't know how many years, you know, in America, outside of America, just been on the grind, and we're not the ones celebrated in the space. And I just had an honest moment with myself, like, God got people all over the world just ready for what we doing. And I was like, well, I'm always show love for the CHH community because, you know, it's needed. But I had to just be like, well, wherever God take this, I just need to celebrate what God doing and not look at what's not happening. You know what I'm saying? It was a hard pill to swallow, but I just had to be like, yo, if I concentrate on who's not rejoicing with us, that's going to take my eyes off of what God is doing. And I don't want to forfeit anything that the Lord is doing, because he's just being so good. Like, bro, we got 70 something projects. We got 30 something videos, 10 cartoon videos. We have a movie, a podcast. Just God has allowed so much, you know, for an indie label with no cosigns to do, just to see. It's a faith thing, bro. This has just been such a faith thing, and just showing. I just want people to see that if you put your talents and your trust and your abilities into the hand of God, He can take you places you've never been, do things for you you've never done, and put you in front of people you didn't even know existed. You know, like, I was in Japan a few years ago, bro, and you know, it was one of those trips that it was the Lord. And before I left, I heard in my spirit, take uh your show tracks. And I just was like, okay, I'm gonna just take them. I just heard it, right? Like, take your show tracks. I just heard it. So while I was over there, I'm over there enjoying, having the best time of my life, bro. And then around that Tuesday or Thursday, like, I met a guy at a music conference. He was from Japan. He has a Christian Japanese heavy metal rock group. So we stayed in
That's awesome.
Right? Just think about it. Just think about it. Heavy metal Christian rock band who's Japanese. They're called Amari Tones. And
Sean's about to look it up. How you spell that?
It's IMORESTONES. Amari Tones. So while I was over there, it just hit me in my heart. Just because you're on vacation don't mean you don't need to go to church. And I was like, okay. So me and my dude was chopping it up, and he came to the hotel so we could have like lunch or something. He was like, oh, y'all got robots in this hotel. I like, dude, it's freaking me out. We got freaking robots that bring you up towers to your room. So he gives me these churches. I look them up. I go to the church, dude, and I'm sticking out because I'm the only one in there with a beard, right? And so the pastor comes in, he preaches half in Japanese, half in English. And he was like, hey, tell me about what you do, blah, blah, blah. And I told him, and we was talking about youth ministry. And then I don't know what I said, but it perked his ears up. I think it was something along like youth needs this with the church. Like, you got a dying youth ministry, you're going to have a dying church because youth has a vibrant energy to churches and they can grow ministries. So he was like, what you said you do again? He was like, you need to stay to the second service. He was like, did you say you rap? I was like, yeah. He was like, you got in the song about struggles? I was like, this is so crazy. This is so crazy. I was like, yeah, I do. He was like, so we were meeting in a smaller room. He was like, yeah, the next service we're going to be in the big sanctuary, and I want you to do a song. And I was just like, and check this out, dude. I prayed at least 10 years ago when, I was praying. I was like, God, please let me rap in Japan. Please let me rap in Germany. Please let me rap in just all these different places. One by one, God knocking them off the list. Germany, the Czech Republic, Alaska, the islands, and then I'm in Japan, just going to church because, dude, I'm in worship at this place in Japan. I'm like, man, I feel the presence of God in here. This is crazy, right? You know what I'm saying? It's just so crazy. And then next thing I know, I'm on stage rapping.
Wow.
And that's what I'm saying, dude. This is just such a trust in God and watch him do exceedingly above more than you can ask or think, So it's wild. Yeah, man. I don't know how I got there, but it was a long train of thought that is just,
yeah.
We're talking about faith, so
it's all good, man. It's all good. Brinson, I definitely appreciate you taking the time to come be on the porch with us, chop it up, talk about philanthropy work, talk about Marvel, Disney Plus, God Chasers, all the above. Man, I tell you, man, I really appreciate what you do in general. I also love that you're a comic book head. That I know every once in a while you send me a photo of a comic that you got, and I'm like, it's so cool to have someone in Christian hip hop I can share this passion with on a serious level. Most people they might watch a couple of movies here and there, but you're an actual
we about this life. We about this.
Hey, Brinson, have you ever checked out Faith and Fandom?
Faith and Fandom.
Yeah,
I might have.
You'll want to check them out on Facebook, on Instagram. Hector Mraz I always mess up his last name, but he always says that's all right. It's super awesome, dude. He's actually out of Fayetteville here in North Carolina, and he travels to different Comic Cons specifically for ministry work. He'll do like church on Sundays. He sets up a table. He's got devotionals and
what's the name again?
Faith and Fandom.
I bet I met him, bro. I bet I met him. I bet money I met him. Yeah, I think I met him.
Well, you met him on this podcast.
Oh
yes.
Oh, is that? Oh, whoops.
He was on the podcast with us.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Like I'm trying to present it like it's something new. I'm sorry, bro.
Good,
but yeah, no. I mean, as you're talking about it, it's just we went to a GalaxyCon in Raleigh, and when we went, there were these Christian protesters out front, and were evidently saying some really ugly and demeaning things to just fans that were showing up to the con, and it just hurts. It's like you're my people by way of our faith, but you're hurting other folks, and if at anything you're driving them further away. And then they get inside, and Hector's got like a whole panel that he does, and he's just sharing love, and anyway, it's amazing to see folks reaching out into communities that are otherwise influenced so strongly by the world that Christians are normally just steer clear of, but we're called to not be of it, but we're still in it, and so we influence it as best as we can.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you, dude, when my project called Vibranium, I made that exclusively so when I go to these cons, I have music to give out to them, because I'm dropping Bible bars, but of course I'm dropping comic bars.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I got so many people to follow what we're doing that I don't know if their life changed, but I do know they're fans of what we do, because they're like, yo, this is dope. Absolutely. And I like how you presenting the gospel, you know what I'm saying? Even though the gospel itself is offensive if you live in sin. Well, I get that.
Right.
But if you got a beat to it, the medicine go down easy. You know what I'm saying? So,
and then they find out about the work that you're doing with the hospitals and stuff, and then it's like, well, who's gonna wag a finger at you for that? I mean,
there's people who do it.
Oh, okay.
Look, everybody got. Dude, we in the age that everybody got something to say. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, fair.
Everything is wrong. So whatever. I'm like, well, if I'm wrong, come out, do me.
Right. Right.
Come out, do me. Come out, give to these kids. Come out, show more love to these people than I do. Don't be a keyboard warrior. Let's do some work.
Right.
Amen.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, dude.
Well, Brinson, appreciate it, man. You got any last words for our listeners before we hop off?
Not last words. I have some words of I would just say I would ask people to go check out our music. Go to our godchasers.com, pick up some merch. I do have like movie posters on the site, shirts that have the movie image on it, like support the movie. We need all of the financial support for this film that we can get, because it's a big undertaking. The promotion is not a game. Prayerfully, we get in this big festival called Cannes in France. They're interviewing us, and they're putting our trailer on their site. So we covet you guys' prayers. Pray for our label. Pray for our music. Pray that people get impacted by the music. And Jason, outside of this, he told me he don't listen to too much music. So I want y'all to pray for him that he dives into the God Chaser catalog, the God Chaser catalog. And I'm working on a new project. Prayerfully, It'll come out the summertime, and we're doing a soundtrack for the film. So we got a lot of things going on, and we just pray that God's grace is on us. So, dude, thank you for allowing me to come on here and really talk. You could tell I haven't been on an interview in a long time because I keep talking, and I got a lot to say.
Yeah, we are
so
not
thank you
that
for having
level
me,
of
man.
professionalism. So.
Oh man. Sean's gonna be like, man, he talked a lot.
No, man, it's all great. Look, it's captivating. You know what I'm saying? Your passion is infectious. So I mean, it's like let God speak through you, man, and there's nothing more for me to say.
Yo. Oh, wait. The reason I asked you about AEW earlier is because you know guys like Omega Sparks, Right.
Yeah, you're doing the hip hop album for AEW. That's right. That's
AEW,
right.
yes, bro.
Omega Sparks in North Carolina too.
Right in North Carolina too.
Is he?
Yeah.
Bro, right I'm there, link up with him. I didn't know that.
Dude, he a comic head too.
All right. Hey, you gonna have to shoot me his information, man. I'm about to link up with him. Got to get him on the show.
Dude, yes. Get him on the show. Yes, bro, because he's on my last album. We did a song, dude. The comic book bars in a tidal wave. Comic book and wrestling bars. That's what you're gonna get. Jesus bars, comic bars, wrestling bars. It's called "Save the World." One of my favorite songs. We just went berserk. We talked about everything, bro. Oh, and I text you some new comics that I got, dude. So when you get a chance, I already sent you the text.
All right, bro. Well, Brinson, appreciate you, man. Appreciate what you've done, and we're going to have you back on the show soon, bro.
Absolutely.
Appreciate y'all, brothers. God bless.
Peace.
Peace.